And after you do that, then we'll go, we'll put it on our website.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds great.
This meeting is being live streamed. Awesome.
Live stream. Soon. I end.
You guys look good.
Hi, Darren.
Hello.
There we are. We are live.
We are. I see us. Can I comment? Tell the guy in the white shirt to shut up.
Oh, dear.
Oh, we already got Charles. Hi, Charles.
Is that Chuck Gentry?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Darren, where are you seeing that? On a different laptop?
On a different screen, I got Facebook open. I can do like two things at the same time.
Oh, that's really impressive.
You are a wizard.
He is
Right.
I don't say anything.
well, I'm here with three of the what is it, six?
Six.
Yeah.
Three of the six of
50%.
Circuline.
You got half the
So-
band.
Yeah. I actually found out about you guys not because of your advertisement on Facebook, but because of Robert Berry.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Nice. Thank
Because
you,
I-
Robert.
I spoke with him a couple times, and he had mentioned that Andrew's his touring keyboardist.
Yeah.
So that was
And
That was kinda
and act-
cool.
And actually, Darren is his video editor for the new live
Yes.
CD, DVD, Blu-ray that's going to be coming
I
out.
am cutting all that together for him.
oh cool.
Almost 2 hours of Robert.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one thing when I was talking with him, I was like going, afterwards when I saw how old he was, I go, you must be drinking from the fountain of youth up there. And
He doesn't look that, does he?
no, I'm like going, you got to be kidding. No,
Right.
my girlfriend thought he was in his mid 40s.
I'm sure he would love to hear that, by the way.
Oh, he
I'll tell him.
he did.
Who
He
doesn't?
did.
Okay.
So when I got I got your 2 CDs in the mail a while back, and I was listening to them, and I liked a lot. I was looking at a lot of the reviews, and I mean everybody was pretty much spot on about you guys. I mean, you guys. It's a
Ron,
rare. It's a rare thing nowadays for prog bands to actually sound original. Because everybody's trying to sound like someone else, and I don't really hear. I mean, you can hear influences, but you don't. It's not like, like a carbon copy of someone, of another band. Usually it's Yes or Genesis. Those are
The big
the
guys.
the two big ones, and then of course you get the ELPs and other stuff. But it's like, no, I don't hear it. I mean, you guys sound so original, and actually, you remind me instrumentally of a band that I heard way back in the '90s called I think out of Utah called Taliban with a K. Just
Oh,
it's just the clean, very clean sounding, and that's what kind of remind me of instrumentally.
Right.
The vocals were completely different, but it was, I think they just disappeared off the map. So it's like, but
you know what we'll do, Ron? Also, those are our 2 studio albums, and we also
Yes.
have 2 live products. One from our Rosfest performance and one from our Prague Stock performance, and we'll make sure that we get you copies of those.
oh, okay, thank you.
Because
Yeah.
those are different. We have different set lists, and we have different guitarists and bass players, and so sonically it's also different.
Oh, cool.
And our Rosfest, those albums, those 2 studio albums came out in 2015 and 2016. And then we performed at Rosfest 2016, and then we performed at Progstock 2017. And we had performed about 30 gigs in between. And so our show is really different too. We worked very hard to craft a real show that hopefully any rock fan could love. So we'll make sure we get you those.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed, you know, that and then of course now that we're coming out of this pandemic, you know, I'm sure we'll probably see people will be able to see you guys live again.
That's the goal. Yeah.
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 We started on our 3rd studio album in 2018 with our bassist Matt Dorsey, and then Robert called, and then basically the Robert Berry tour for me took up the rest of 2018 and all of 2019, and so Circuline unfortunately had to go on the back burner. So then we were back in the studio beginning of 2020, and then the pandemic hit. So we've been, you know, last year we overhauled our recording studio to be able to do live streaming. We did that new CD, DVD, Blu-ray from Progstock. We did a virtual tour and launched that product. So we've been getting back to being active again, and we're really excited about writing this 3rd studio album, which we hope to have finished by the end of the year for release next year. So, and you're now on our spreadsheet of media personnel to make sure that we get you an advance copy.
Wow. You're so special. You're very special now.
Yeah. Spreadsheets. Yeah.
Spreadsheet.
You know you've arrived when you make the spreadsheet.
And then of course some of the younger people will go, "What's a spreadsheet?"
Yeah.
A Google Doc, how about that?
Yeah, it's like it's so amazing, you know. It's like a few weeks back we did a show about, you know, physical media versus streaming, and how a lot of the younger people don't understand what a CD is, and it's just such a shame because it's so magical, you know, when you open up the pack, you know, your package, and you pull out the CD or a record, you know, you pull it out and you just go into another world, you know, and you can't really do that with streaming. I mean, streaming, I guess, would be fine if you wanted to sample to see if that's the band for you.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you know, there's nothing like holding a physical copy in your hand, you know, just amazing. And
yeah, that's when we grew up in the 70s. I hate to tell people how old I am, but you know, the whole thing was getting the record and, you know, putting the headphones on and listening and reading those liner notes. That was it. You know, you don't really see that much anymore, unfortunately.
Well, that's why vinyl is having been having for the last couple of years such a renaissance. Because, I mean, you know, those of us who are still alive to remember what it felt like to open, and if it was like one that folded out, like, you know, a double album or something that had lots of information on the inside, it was a tactile, pleasurable thing, worthy time investment. And now it's just a click of a button. Someone's bio, somebody's, you know, I think there's a certain flavor that's lost, but I'm biased. So.
Oh yeah, you know,
one of the things that we've seen a couple bands do, and we're going to be experimenting on this 3rd studio album with different types of physical products because so many people still like them, is we've seen a couple bands lately, they'll put the physical medium on CD, but they'll still actually sell a 12-inch booklet of liner notes in case people want to have that and they don't want to have to buy a vinyl. They'll still just sell the liner notes, or they can put it on the wall if they want. So that's something that we're thinking about. Darren's also our graphic artist, video editor. So we're always, you know, discussing these things. And we actually have been doing that since the very beginning when we met in 2013 we were the progressive rock tribute band Down in Gray from 2009 to 2013. And Darren had joined in 2012 and I joined and Natalie joined in 2013. But right away we started talking about how we should look, how should we dress on stage, how do we present ourselves. And then when we morphed into the all original band Circuline, how are we going to present ourselves on stage? How are we going to have our products? Those were just things that we always appreciated about other bands, and we thought we should be trying to take into consideration.
Yeah, that's the one thing with progressive rock bands is, for the most part, you guys have a an appearance that you got, you know, whether it be everybody wearing the same outfit, or you know, or something flashy, or you know, it's like it's never really boring, you know, people just looking like they just came off the street type of. And that's what I like about whenever I go to a prog concert, you know, it's like, you know, you're getting the full show, you know, you're not just getting some, but, you know, people just sitting up there or standing up there playing their instrument, you know, how it sounds on the album, you know, you don't get the same music that you get on, you know, from the CD. You know, the CD is like the, you know, how do you, like the blueprint of what you can do, you know.
Right. We work hard to craft cool shows. Even though there are a lot of it is different set lists on the things we're going to show you, the 2 live products, the things that we're going to send you rather. They're similar set lists, but we had a couple personnel changes. So that already informs a difference to how, you know, sonically how it is. But then we do this kind of like cool drum off in our later show. And then there's wonderful little piano duet challenge that Darren and Andrew did. So crafting a show, our aesthetic changes in time, you know, through time fluctuates, but crafting a show is really an important thing. People pay a lot of money for these tickets nowadays, and you got to give good show. In other, and I like what you just said. We're not just a blueprint of the album. We want it to sound live. We want it to be a new experience, a new version.
Yeah, just like even when we're writing the music, you know, like you said, we are influenced by all those bands, but we do kind of take it upon ourselves to make it our own. And that's the same thing for the live shows. Every one of us have seen bands. And I think for that, the Prog Stock show, we brought elements of these moments that I remember going to see certain bands. And I think we all bring that to this newer show. And they are special. It makes it a lot more, I guess, accessible, if you want to use that word, to more than just the progressive rock fans, you know?
Right.
So
that's what we're hoping for.
That's what we're hoping.
Well, you know, also too is, you know, I've mentioned this to other people before, that, you know, you put your music down onto CD and it's pressed and it's out there in the world, but then maybe you thought, oh my God, maybe I could have put something extra here, you know, little things like that. So I think the live version is where, okay, now I can put that little extra piece that maybe would have made the song too long on the album, but you know, live if you go as, you know, pretty much as long as you want.
That's a very good point, and that's exactly
true.
right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
One of those things also is that when we made our first studio album, we were under a deadline to get it done and get it finished in that first year. And then as soon as we got that album done, we did a tour, a US East Coast tour opening for Glass Hammer. And then the next month we came back and we did a Sonic Voyage Fest, which was a traveling festival with 2 other bands on that time. And then we came back and we had actually been the official backup band for Rozfest in 2015. So as soon as Rozfest 2015 was over, George Roldan called us and he said, hey, I really like you guys. I know we didn't get you in, you weren't the backup, that we didn't have an emergency, but we want to put you on for next year, for 2016. So we had to go right back in the studio and we had a hard deadline to get that record finished in time for Rozfest 2016, the second album, Counterpoint. So one of the things that's happened is is like you said, maybe we want to add something or change something. But what's nice is that all of our songs have kind of evolved a little bit because we didn't have time to really bake them the way that we might have if we had unlimited time to make a record. So
Right.
over time, just from playing them live, we've kind of all worked out parts, that aren't on the record. So the live version, we feel does we hope, one of the things, the live version we hope is as good as the record, if not a little bit better, because all of us have purchased records, fell in love with the records, and we go to the concert and you hear people go, oh, well, the live, went to see them live and they weren't as good as a record. Like we never want to have people have that experience. So we work really hard to deliver a good show. And Natalie Brown, for many people who don't know, Natalie has had I always want to say 30 years, but maybe it's been 40 years now. Natalie's been a union actor for decades. And so she has a lot of experience. She had the lead in Evita twice. She was acting.
He loves to say that.
I love saying that. Well, because because a lot of people, I think that a lot of people think, if you're not doing it full time now, what happened? Well, she was in Boston area. She was in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts. She was at Hartford Stage for 15 years. She was in New York City. So she has this decades of professional experience that she also brings, when we're crafting all kinds of things. So I get to brag on you.
Thanks, honey. Thank you, honey. Thanks for the plug, honey.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah, it's that's the one thing what I noticed with the prog bands, especially nowadays. It's like you got that a lot people, even if it's a brand new band, the members have years of experience behind them. It's not like they're just, we just decided we're going to do a band, out of a situation, if we were, a lot younger, in our younger days when you start off in how bands start off in garages or someone's basement, that kind of a thing. But you got enough experience behind you that, know how to do things that a younger band struggle. And
I was just going to say, some of the younger bands that are out there are very interesting because of that kind of raw quality. Like I'm thinking Bent Knee, what they do is really interesting. And I guess they're the one that I think of a lot. Very different than what we do. But I love the fact that they're bringing kind of a whole new generation into progressive rock. It might morph and change and evolve, and it might not be everybody's interpretation of progressive rock, but it's pretty wonderful to see that kind of, for lack of a better term, art rock being done still.
Right.
I get very excited by that. It might not be stuff I want to listen to all the time, but I get really excited about new people bringing that kind of thing to the table these days. It helps us. It only helps the whole genre. So.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that I think is a strength for us actually is when Darren and I are writing the music. Darren is like an encyclopedia of progressive rock from the 70s. So a lot of times I'll just be messing around on the keyboards and I'll play this thing that's new for me. I've never heard it before, and I'll play it. I'll be like, hey, this sounds pretty cool. And he'll be like, nope. That sounds like something I heard on an Alan Parsons record in 1978 or what, he's like, I've already heard that before. It's been done before. I'm like, well, I never played it before. He's like, I'm telling you, somebody has played it before and we have to change it and make it our own because otherwise it's going to sound too much like this other thing.
Right.
So that's really helpful. And then, Natalie comes in and Billy comes in and Alec comes in and, we've started having Matt come in. And so with everybody's input, it's really helpful for us to have all these different influences because we are truly trying to craft something that sounds like us.
And this time for our third record, we are writing all the lyrics and vocal lines. Previous two studio records, we had the joy of working with Randy McStein. He helped us in that regard. But this time, Natalie, Billy, Andrew, and myself are all stepping up and writing lyrics and vocal lines. So it's going to be great. A lot of good stuff coming down the road.
Oh yeah, and you know, like Natalie was saying about new stuff coming in, how progressive rock should be able to morphing into something new. I think we got. I mean, I remember as far back into the '90s where you had two camps. It was like, you know, everyone, the '70s, you know, and anything that came after 1979 wasn't really progressive rock, you know. But it's like it has to evolve with time, you know. It changed in the '80s, and again, it changed in the '90s, and kind of went. The '90s was kind of reminded me of stuff that they were. It was almost like they were directly trying to copy '70s. You know, a lot of bands. I mean, once you know you get an original sounding band, but it's like it was like they were trying too hard in the '90s to sound. You know, the vocals were either trying to sound like John Anderson or Peter Gibb. You know, and you know, no one was doing their own. You know, and it's like their own identity. You know, and that's one of the things I like about your band is vocalists have their own identity. They're not trying to sound like someone that came before them. They're just sounding like themselves, and to me, that's a very welcome thing.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Very good.
I love that. That's a great compliment. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Oh, by the
Really
way,
appreciate that.
guys, Robert Schindler says hi.
Oh, Robert. Hi, Robert Schindler.
A wonderful player. If
He's
you
a
don't
great
know who
keyboard
he is,
player.
he's wonderful. Wonderful.
He's a great keyboard player, and he's a great guy.
Oh yeah, I spoke with him a few months back.
Oh, cool. Good.
But yeah, you know, that's what I like when when rock bands, you know, try to go to the next level. You know, they're not resting on the previous band's laurels. You know, it's like, and that's what I think I noticed in the 2000s. It's like it got a little more diversified. You know, especially now that, you know, in the mid '90s, prog metal was like, you know, basically in its infancy right then, and just exploded. And so you got that aspect to progressive music adding on to, you know, the either like art rock or the symphonic rock, more complex stuff, you know, that people are doing like the oddest time signatures as possible. You know, it's like, you know, you got those, you know, so it's like you got a nice variety of stuff now, that which is good and gives people voices as to what they want to listen to. You know, they want to listen to something more melodic. There's plenty of bands out there for that, and but I like when the bands are trying new sounds, you know.
Yeah. And just, I gotta give a shout out to the ladies. I like the chicks in Prague. I'm not gonna lie. I like Night Watch. I like District 97. I love it. Love when Susie makes appearances with Glass Hammer. I mean, I just,
Definitely.
you know, I think some of their, and I hope they won't mind me saying this, but I think some of their best writing is when they write for her. I love it. Rosie with IO Earth. I mean, she's a killer vocalist. And I like, I'm sorry, honey, go ahead.
And it started with Renaissance, because you used to sing all that Renaissance, right?
Yeah. No, I love Annie. I mean, Annie was one of the first out there doing it, you know. I tried to sound like her, but that's never gonna happen. But I have been compared to Gracie Slick, and Jefferson Airplane is sort of that crossover, you know.
We've heard
Frog
that.
beat,
Yes, we have heard that.
Yeah, so I'm down with that. Keep comparing me to her. I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah, bring it. But I love seeing the women in this genre
Oh yeah.
taking more center stage. I mean, I love singing with Billy. Our harmonies, I think, are great. But I'm talking predominantly with other band. I'm just starting to get into Night Watch. Oh, and of course the chicks from Bethany are amazing. But I'm just starting to get into Night. Is it Night Wish or Night Watch? Am I saying that right?
I think it's Night Wish, actually, isn't it?
Night
Oh,
Watch.
Night. Okay,
Wish.
sorry, my bad. But I love that woman. I think she's got great pipes, and she rocks it hard. She's great. But I just like seeing more of that. You know.
Actually, we're in this not classified as prime, but we love all of us love Evanescence also, you know, which is rock.
Yeah.
Great
Oh
rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course your fellow New Yorkers is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's right.
Yeah,
They're wonderful.
they are wonderful.
And she
We
just
saw
came out with
them
a
at-
solo album, right? Didn't she come out with a solo album?
Yes,
yeah,
she
Laura
did.
Mead.
Yeah.
Laura Mead just did a solo
Laura Mead.
album.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention those. So I love those guys.
Yeah. I saw them the first time I saw them was out at CalProg out in Southern California back in 2004. And
You know, how did a guy from California wind up in Maine?
my girlfriend.
Ah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So brought me to the Hudson Valley. So yeah.
Yeah. That's how I got here. That's how I got to New York. That's how Darren got to New York.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So almost everybody's as a transplant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people have, got the advertisement on Facebook, so if people aren't paying attention, these two are up there, and I thought that, I saw that guys up there and I was like, wait a second, Robert told me about them because their keyboard is banned. So I was like, okay, when I saw that ad again, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just take advantage of it. And anyone out there really should take advantage of it because you're gonna get some really great music.
Aw.
And and then of course get on their mailing list, and then so you can be updated as to what's going on. And then of course now with Facebook, people are making pages. So, you got their Facebook page and all the other social media out there. So it's like there's no way you can't know about these guys.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
One of the things that we intend to do for this upcoming third studio album is, if you go to YouTube, Darren has worked very hard to craft a lot of official videos from those first two studio albums, and we have also official videos from the two live products, so you can get a kind of a taste of how we are live. And we also are going to be releasing more official videos with this new album. And we're going to be having kind of a pre-launch experience that people can be a part of, where we'll have some more Facebook Lives, and we're going to be having the story behind the song and some question and answer sessions. We did that with our virtual tour for the latest New View, and we got a great response from that. So we'll be doing that again. And it's where people can come on and ask questions, and we tell the story. What were we thinking about? Like, what's interesting now, what's really fun in writing now, is that since we're all writing lyrics, we come in and Darren's got pages of lyrics, Natalie has pages of lyrics, Billy's got lyrics, I have lyrics. And so it's really nice to collaborate within the band in a new way that we haven't been working before, working out, even sometimes it could be a word or it could be a line. What's the story here? What's the emotion or the feeling behind the lyrics? And one of the reasons we're doing that is because we all naturally write music. For us is the easiest part to come up for us to craft the music. that's just something that is easy for us, and we can do that pretty quickly. But in the past, the song parts, the words and the melodies were the parts where we needed, where it wasn't as easy, and which is why we worked with Randy McStein. So now we said, okay, well, this is going to be the part. Let's start with that part. So let's get all that part down first, and then we can write the music around it and put in the proggy bits and the biddly bits and the extended instruments.
Well, the thing about this time is that Natalie has stepped up and said, I'm going to write lyrics and vocal lines. And you know what? She's pretty good. She's pretty good at it.
Very nice. That's
No,
very
I mean,
nice.
what's really great is that, like what Andy was touching on a little bit there, was like, I do have my list of all these lyrics, and likewise for everyone else. You know, Natalie will look at a paragraph and go, oh, this is really great. And then Billy will go, oh, you know what? Maybe take the third sentence out and use this. And then Andy will go, oh, no, don't do that. You're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. No, but there's a lot of, back and forth. And, again, it's all about the kind of the message of the lyric, that we're trying to get across. And, it can pull from all four of us, so that's, for the first time, it's a great collaboration, I think, on this part.
Yeah, it's the newness of it. I mean, we were all scared to death.
Yeah, exactly. Very scared.
Holy crap. I mean, this is totally out of our wheelhouse.
But not anymore, I don't think. This is
no. Now it's actually kind of, and we know, and what's nice is that we seem to be all good editors.
Yes.
Like, oh God, no, that works, or God, no, that sucks, or what. I mean, and while the lovely Darren gave me my props, I appreciate that. Many times I'm just stealing. I go over to his little pile of lyrics when I'm stuck. He wrote them so long ago. He doesn't remember that he wrote them.
No, not at all.
So I'm good with, taking all the credit.
All right, good for you.
Well, and we need to be editors because put it this way, I need editing because well, we all write differently, and like when I hear a song concept in my head, I'll just capture the whole song in either a recorder, or I'll play it, or I write it down. And everything that I write is just very literal. I'm a very literal storyteller. I don't know why, that's just how it pours out of me. And so, because of course it's rock, and it's now it's progressive rock on top of that. Oh, that's too specific. It needs to be more vague. Oh, that's too many words. And I'm like, well, Joni Mitchell has 1 million words. Why can't I have more words? And they're like, it doesn't work. So, I need editing, and it's good because they're all three of them are really good editors. So yeah, it seems to be working well so far.
Well, that's one thing, again, with the progressive rock that I am drawn to is storytelling, whether it's the storytelling in the lyrics or in the music. Because sometimes you can follow, the music, it conveying the different emotions on top of the vocalists conveying the different emotions. That's one of the things that it draws me to it. Such all the great progressive rock of the past has always told these wonderful stories. Whether it's fantasy or if it's something that's based on a personal experience. I think progressive rock nowadays tends to be more on personal experiences rather than fantasy characters, because
right,
it's kind of almost all been done, the fantasy part, it's like, but with personal experiences, everyone has a different. Oh, it's I mean, on the surface they may all look the same, but it's when you really get down into it, different experiences can write great stories from that.
We've all agreed that nobody needs, and this is just our personal opinion. Okay, people may not like when I say this. This is my opinion, and within our own band, we personally and Ryan, we've all agreed that nobody needs another story about an interstellar space traveler. You know,
Right.
we don't, or Greek. Like I love Greek mythology, but we don't need another song about Greek mythology. Like you said, it's been done already, and you know, we're all huge Steven Wilson fans, and we have watched Steven Wilson's career every year just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and we think part of it is all the musicianship is amazing, and of course we will always still have an emphasis on that, and we're probably talking about the songwriting because it's the newest part for us that we're focusing on the most right now. But I think it's because Steven Wilson's songs, he's touching on some universal themes.
Right.
You know, the music is fantastic, but he's also singing about feelings that people have today in today's world. And so I think people can really connect with that. And so that's kind of just, we're just, you know what, for us, the next step, we're just trying to take the next step that makes the most logical sense for us to take. And so that's what works for us right now. Who knows, you know, you could come back on the next couple albums and we might be writing about space travelers and Greek mythology, and I could be like, oh, I was wrong. So but this is where we are today.
Well, you know, it should come natural, you know.
Yes, and it's and to our own amazement, it's come more natural than we ever thought it would, because because it's such a new territory for us. But I want to go back to what you just said about not only do the lyrics tell the story, but the music tells the story. And when I think about our song Hollow, the lyrics are really, they create a certain thing, but then Andrew goes into what we call our Rachmaninoff moment, but that whole little section where he just brings that intro and into the next instrumental part, and how it takes off, tells a story. It's very emotional to listen to. And I have had less appreciation for that until I actually joined this band and saw what was in the process of it. But that whole thing, that big, huge break in the vocal of that instrumental tells its own story. You're absolutely dead on. When you were talking about that, I thought about Hollow. I think many of our songs probably have that, but that's the one that sprung to mind.
Yeah. So everybody's been talking about it, the pandemic. What did you guys do during the pandemic? Music-wise, I should say.
Right here, this is it. Just
Well, actually, we were going to start writing right away, but one of the first things we did is I knew by March, like April, we're going to be here for a while, and we have been wanting to expand and remodel and overhaul our recording studio for a couple of years, and we needed more space so that, number one, we could put all 6 members comfortably in the studio. I needed more space for keyboards. We needed more space to have all 6 band members. We needed to expand our 24 channel, more recording tracks. We built a new computer. We got new lighting. We redid the ceiling, and now we'll be able to do live streams. And I thought we could do that in a couple months, but the whole process took about 7, 8, 9 months. So that was kind of aggravating. One of the things that we did was we had bits of songs that went back to 2018. When Darren and I started writing, beginning of 2018, then we had a weekend that Alec Darson, our guitarist, came. We worked with him. Then we had Matt Dorsey come in the summer of 2018. And so we had to go back through our kind of back catalog, and I had some demo things. Darren had some demo things. We started going through all those lyrics, and we were always trying to figure out how can we get all these bits in one place. And we tried Dropbox in the past, and that didn't work. So we heard that Marillion would make a private SoundCloud playlist of all their bits. So we right now we have over 75, bits on our private SoundCloud playlist. So we all have to go through, we listen and we go, oh, that was really good. And we can take notes, on SoundCloud, right. We can take notes on the track. So we all took different notes. And then what happens is I have these big, giant 2 foot by 3 foot, like a giant Post-it note.
He does. He has them, and we have to look at them.
So what happens is, well, I'm like the organizer guy, right? I'm like the librarian. So then I go through and we have one column are the things that need to be finished, and then the middle column is all the instrumental biddly bits, and the right columns, when we get it finished, it gets put in the right column. And then there's like color coded and arrows going, oh, we could use this part goes with those words, and we had this instrumental cool chunky section.
He understands what the charts mean.
And it's literally crazy with arrows drawn everywhere. It's like a giant mind map. So
you probably need one of those giant whiteboards, you know, that the professors usually.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
we're gonna
Something like
have
that.
actually
that.
the phase. This was phase 2 of the studio remodel, and phase 3 is coming either later this year, beginning next year. When we get to phase 3, there is going to be a whole wall that's going to be all like the whiteboard, you know.
Oh, mother of God! Really?
But the thing is, what happens is we have to record everything, because when we get in there, you know, Darren plays keyboards too. So Darren has we overhauled Darren's drum rig. Darren got a bunch of new drums, a bunch of new cymbals. We got his whole new setup. So part of the overhaul is Darren's got all of his drums and cymbals, and then he spins around and he's got his keyboard and his computer stuff over here, which we didn't have before either. We all have new 6-way stereo in-ear monitoring system with the big mixing board. So when we start playing, we have to record everything, because people, like, it'll happen with, I'll play something, I don't know what I did. Darren plays, I know what he did. Natalie, literally, it happens all the time. Natalie's like, oh, la, la. And she'll start singing and belting something out, and we'll all be like, that was awesome. What was that? She's like, I don't know, I was just singing. So when you're in the flow, because you're in the flow, you're actually not thinking. So when someone else hears something that someone else did, you don't really know what you did. So it's part of the time consuming part is, you know, in an ideal world, it would be like the 70s, where the 6 of us would be in the studio creating, and there'd be a manager and a producer, and there'd be people handling all that stuff for us. But since we're an independent band, we have to do everything ourselves. So we record everything. What was the bit? Then we have to go, because there's all kinds of cool stuff that none of us remember what we played or what we sang or what we did. So the process is a little more time consuming to capture everything, but then we go back and listen to it, and we separate it out and chop it up. And so that was a long answer, but
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
But the question was, what did we do during COVID? And we got to plug the virtual tour, because we ended up being number 1 in Portugal or something for that, right?
So
this is kind of cool.
Yeah, the Circulive new view, right? With our,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
with this new view, we did a new view virtual tour that was a 15-date tour, and we had 3 events per night. We had official video, plus we a clip from the live product, plus we did the Q&A on the live thing. So we had 45 events over 15 dates over a 5-week period. And because of that, we actually got featured in Music Connection magazine, and we got on a national Spotify playlist. We were listed as one of the top 100 best live bands. And the New View was picked as #1 in Portugal at the end of the year, beat Neil Morris, beat Dream Theater, we couldn't believe it. So again, we'll make sure we get you a copy of that. And
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And the official video for that one is Hollow. You can check that out on YouTube with Alec Darson on guitar. He did a fantastic job. And there's 15 like individual clips on our YouTube channel. They're like little 60-second clips that we use as promo material.
Oh, that's cool.
On YouTube. Cool.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned about the live streaming, you know, that during the pandemic, and now we're not quite out of it, but we're on the hopefully out of it part of the pandemic, where people are starting to go back to shows. But the other thing is, you know, there's a few of us, me in particular, that I'm very sketchy about going to a live show, because I don't know who's been vaccinated or not. And,
Oh, exactly.
and you can't really ask, because people will have a a fit of some sort. But live stream of of your concert, whether it's on at a like a theater or even if it's in your your studio, you can do it live, and more people that, let's say, they can't get to, let's say, a Ross Fest or Prague Stock or wherever you might be playing, they can't get to it because of airfare and hotel and everything.
Right.
But to offer it, okay, well, if you can't see us in person, you can see us live on your
Right.
computer or any of your devices. I mean that, and even if it's not the pandemic, it's like still like, sometimes people can't or don't want to go to a concert, but they want to see their favorite bands live, and it's the technology, I think, thanks to the pandemic, has kind of been pushed that direction.
Yeah.
That
Well, we're already planning. You can mark my words on this one. We're already planning live streaming a concert on the release of this third studio album. We're already looking at venues where we can play. We're thinking about, okay, lighting the show, multi-cameras, who's going to come help run the live stream, how are we going to do the cameras, how are we going to do it, because we've just seen other bands be able to reach people worldwide, and quite frankly, one of the reasons we're now aggressively promoting with Facebook ads is because we thought, okay, we released 2 studio albums, we've had these 2 live products, and we still have so many people around the world, and we have sales in 19 countries, but there's just so many people who they don't know who we are. They've never heard of us. They might have heard of us, maybe. They don't know who we are. And we thought, we're the only, because we're the label, we have our small record label. The only way people are going to find out, I mean, we've had over 100 reviews, wonderful people like you interview us, but it still doesn't necessarily translate to sales or fans in the way that it did in the 70s, 80s, 90s, before the internet really took off.
Right.
So for us, that means it's on us. It's our job to do the marketing and promotion like another label would. So we're actually very excited because since we had such a good response from Prague Stock Show, we thought, okay, well, if we put on our own show and we have multi-cameras and we're not rushed for time at a festival, we have to hurry up and get on and play and then hurry up and get off because there's another band coming. What do we want to do? How are we going to present ourselves? What will we do to make a nice live stream experience so that if Ron Fuchs from Bangor, Maine can't get to the show, what can we do so that many people can see it and enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I think that's just the next best thing for people, and like you said, you're going to reach a whole lot more doing it that way than saying, okay, live from New York City, it's like, how, I mean, you'll get a good audience, but it's like with the live stream, you're going to get so much more,
Yeah,
and
it's also fewer variables to worry about. We can control our sound. We can control everything. There's so many things at these festivals, especially, that are kind of throw and go kind of things. And don't get me wrong, they've been fabulous for us. We wouldn't be on the map without them. But I think COVID showed us there's another option that is perfectly viable and desirable now, especially because COVID and the many variants, we just don't know what this is going to be like even a year from now. We're hopeful, but I'll go to an outdoor concert any day, but I'm not so sure about an indoor concert now. I'm not sure how comfortable I am.
Yeah, it's kind of scary at that, unless, what was it? I saw a few months ago, Foo Fighters did a concert, but everybody, in order to come in, had to be vaccinated.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I mean, that's good. I think that that's a great thing to do. But then again, you're going to get people that are going to moan and groan why, and it's like, why? Health. The thing is, this is, if fans love you that much, then they'll do it. Because as a fan, different bands, I don't want to see any of them get sick because someone came in, and that wasn't vaccinated and was carrying it. I don't want anybody to get sick, musician or actor or any of that because of something like that. So it's like, I think I even saw, I don't know who it was, but it was a female singer that was saying, it's like, look, this is my livelihood. You don't come in here sick because then I won't be able to perform.
Right. No, that's exactly right.
And it's like, it's just down to that. There's nothing else. No, nothing else. It's just, we want to be able to see our favorite artists or bands live. So we'll take that extra step, So, so you, if you're in
That's another, but that's another, oh, I'm sorry. No,
yeah,
there's go ahead.
Yeah, you did, let's say you booked a venue that's 200 seats, for instance. So you only sell 100, just so everybody's kind of spaced apart type of thing, and you just got to be first for the health reasons, that I keep on saying that you'll see it on my Facebook. I always talk about, mask up, vaccinate,
Yeah.
It's all, honestly, if you want to really get down to it, it's for you guys.
Yeah.
Doing it for you guys, so you guys can be comfortable up on that stage and not think, something happened,
Right.
Well, and there's another, I mean, that's another advantage to the streaming, if you want to do streaming and live, because there are, it's rare, but there are some people who do get allergic and they've been advised not to get the vaccine. And I feel bad for those people because then they really do. Then there is no choice for them, but that's where streaming live performances would come in very handy. So they're not feeling totally left out or made pariahs by other people. They get to still enjoy things. So,
and plus also, if you just take away the COVID aspect of it, like I said before, you're going to reach so much more people live streaming.
Absolutely.
And the place that you got Prague Stock, I think I heard, or it could be a rumor, that not only are they doing it in-house, but they're also going to be streaming it.
Yeah, they did it virtually last year. We saw a bunch of the performances, and they're going to do that again this year. So what they did is
that's fantastic. I mean, now people on the other side of the world will see a band there that they never heard of before, and it's all of a sudden, they can, the potential for them to become an instant fan is really good.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And plus, also, if you're at home, you're not going to worry about the person in front of you with his camera, blocking your view, or the person behind you that's too busy talking, too busy talking about what he did earlier in that day. It's like, you can have, and if you live in a place where you can boost up the sound, you can have your own, the perfect sound,
Absolutely.
And plus also, nowadays with all those big screen TVs, I have a 50-inch, so and I've seen 85 I can just imagine watching a concert on an 85-inch screen.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Right.
crazy.
So it's like, there's so much possibilities nowadays, different ways. And then, you were talking about the CD with an LP size booklet. Going back to that band I was telling you about, Caliban, they released, and there was another band too that did the same thing. They released their CD in an LP size thing, opened up, and there's the CD like this.
Right.
And then you open it up, and there was a CD like right in there, and it was I believe the guy Greg Walker at Symphonic Records. He released it that way.
Okay.
There's that. That's that way, and it's like it was kind of cool. There was a Spanish artist that he hadn't put anything out on album or CD, and then when he put it out the CD on that big an LP size. So it's like different packaging. I mean, it's just amazing all the different ways nowadays you can package your CD, other than the standard jewel case.
Yeah, and there's much more cost-effective ways too. I mean, it might not be fancy, but you can, if you just have one little sleeve, it can save you a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah, and then make available like the liner notes online, on your website. People can, because one of the things that I do these days is when I get a CD from a band, I immediately search out their website, and if their website doesn't have the information that I'm looking for, I search out a Wikipedia so I can read, because I'm one of these persons that I can't just listen to the song and then it's over and then it's out of my head. I got to know why everything was done. I mean,
That's great. You're like the perfect fan. That's great.
You're the perfect fan. You know what else? You know what else we need to send you? That first album that you just held up. We actually have a high resolution PDF liner notes that we used to have had that for a long time on the website. I don't know if we saw that page up, but we have PDF booklet liner notes because we've talked about, and we have to reprint that again, about reprinting the new booklet liner notes, but I'll make sure we send that to you too.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's I really like discovering new bands such as yourself. And I like to find out. I mean, I'm not good with any of the technical stuff, the instruments, and I couldn't name all the keyboards that you use. I couldn't.
Well, we couldn't either. So.
Nobody could.
I mean, I have a friend back home that he is like fanatical when it comes to keyboards. I think he knows what every keyboard sounds like, and and I'm like, well, I'm not going to go that far. I mean, I'll enjoy. I mean, I have a cutoff point where it's like, okay, now I'm going to start enjoying the music. I'm not going to be
right.
Too technical about the whole album. But it's like I like especially when people devise up really interesting concepts of albums. One of the ones that it's with me for years is from the band Circuline, that song May, that one track that's like about less than an hour, but it's just one track, all of it, but it's just afterwards, it doesn't feel like it was, I think it was like 49 minutes. It doesn't feel like 49 minutes. It probably felt like about 5 minutes. and that's, but it tells a story, and that's stuff like that is what draws me to progressive rock to begin with.
That's awesome. But you know what, Ron? We totally appreciate you interviewing us today, and we actually have another appointment that we have to get to.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to, I hate to
Oh,
cut
that's
you
no
off because this is so
problem,
well,
but-
but we're gonna get yelled at if we don't make this.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been a busy weekend. We also have another quartet that we've been rehearsing
Yeah.
for, a cover band, and we've got a couple of gigs. So we're splitting the rehearsal up all over the place. Darren's going to be jumping
Right.
on one of those gigs next week, and we're just kind of throwing him on it. So we have all this stuff planned, but you are so sweet and lovely to have wanted to do this. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time out. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for
we can do it
asking.
again when the new album comes out. We can
Awesome.
do it again when the new
I'll
one.
be here.
Thank you so much. This is lovely.
Oh, you're
talking to you.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, you too.
We'll
Thank
send
you
you
very
those-
much.
We'll send you those 2 live products in that PDF liner notes.
Yes. Write that down
Okay,
so we don't
all right.
forget.
Thank
I am.
you.
Already got it. It's shipping today.
Darren's already got it.
Oh!
He's already got it.
Thank you. Our shipping
Oh, thank you.
department.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment department. Good.
Yes, fulfillment, yes.
Okay, well, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. The music has been fantastic to listen
And you
to.
know what? If hopefully, does your girlfriend tend to like this kind of music?
Not really.
You know what? She might like the New View concert from Prague.
Okay.
Stock. She might like.
Sit her down, tell her it's a new rom-com, and start playing our Blu-ray. See what happens.
Excellent. Good plan, Darren. That's a
good
good fake out. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much. I'm
Thank
sorry we
you
Oh,
have
so
to
you're
much,
welcome.
Ron.
Thank you. And I'll talk with you guys soon.
Thank you,
We'll
Ron.
see you
Take
again.
care.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.